What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, happy Two Goat Thursday. How you doing?
I am doing great, getting ready to move this weekend, but always have time to talk about my Niners.
Moving, it's the worst thing. I was telling,
It is.
for those that didn't see, I had the Through Her Eyes show yesterday with Alexis Rams, content creator. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. She gave a lot of good info. But I was talking to her about, why you weren't there, that you were getting ready to move and whatnot. And I told her, I'm like, like I'll literally stay in a place, living in a place that I hate. Like way past time, just because like I hate moving that much, like such a dreaded thing. And now obviously with my body the way it is, like I can hardly lift anything. It's like, so I have to rely on other people to do things, and it's just like it's just a nightmare. But moving at all, regardless of no sore body or not, is just I've always hated it. So yeah, good luck for your move. I hope
Thank
you're
you, thank you.
moving to a bigger, better, a more amazing place that makes all this moving worth it.
Definitely makes a move worth it, I think.
Chat, what's up? So I tried this new streaming option for the streaming platform that we used, and it first of all we found out it doesn't let us dual stream, so Steph wasn't able to stream it on her platform. And now all the comments that you guys had before I went live have completely disappeared out of the chat. So the very first comments I see now is this hello bebop. And I know there was tons of comments before that, so it's very crazy. It'll be the last time that we use this option, but here we are. Don, what's up? Daniel Barry, throwback. Appreciate you all. And those that left comments that I can no longer see, appreciate you.
It's so weird. I
But
can see
yeah,
them.
we're gonna. You do?
Yeah, I can see one going back from like
What the
last
hell?
night, 12
That's so
a.m.
weird.
Like,
So you can, but
oh,
I can't. Like it's a mystery to me.
whatever.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's get into this because it's gonna be a shorter show. I am going to the Aces game today, and so I still have some stuff to do, and then we're off to the game. So before that, though, we got to get into some 49ers. Steph, I haven't even gone. This is my only show I've even done since the 49ers lost. So very not, I mean, we talked about it, right? Going back to the 90s, the 49ers can't win in Minnesota. I had asked you, is that something that comes into play? Yes, we talked about it, but we still both picked the 49ers to win. And obviously, that didn't happen. Like, I don't know what happens when they get into Minnesota that all of a sudden, like, Kyle forgets how to call plays. Purdy throws interceptions. Like, I don't, it's very, very strange. Like, you would think, like, maybe in Denver, like, where the altitude's different, or, like, what is it, Minnesota? Like, there should be nothing that's not like is it loud there? Is it, like, I
It's
don't
pretty
understand
loud
what
from
it,
what I've heard. Yeah,
like, it's
their
very, very
fans pretty
odd.
crazy. It is.
Especially,
I
we
mean,
Sam Darnold kicking our butt.
so I think last season's game against Minnesota was way more egregious and way
Yeah.
more like fair to ask like what the hell is it about Minnesota? But like this time I think the Vikings looked good. They looked good. They looked better than I thought they would. It wouldn't shock me if they ended up being a playoff team, wild card team maybe this season. Because yeah, they had their ducks in the row on all three phases of this game. So they gave it to the Niners. Niners pretty fair and square, I thought. So it wasn't. Yes, there was some weird things that happened, of course, but I think a lot of those did have to do with like the Vikings just kind of putting them in that situation and Brian Flores' defense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brock Purdy had definitely struggled with it, so as he did last season as well. And he comes out and saying your scheme's crazy at like post game, uh, that's crazy. So, but I
Yeah.
think tells you that obviously that played a role, I think, in the loss and Brock Purdy and maybe his hesitancy in this one. So yeah, I mean, hopefully it was a forgettable game. Hopefully they, move forward and look more like the team that we saw in week 1 than they did the team
Mhm.
in week 2 coming up.
Yeah, that's what my thoughts like pretty much, hopefully like remember last season we went through that like 3-game losing streak. Like hopefully we got our loss out of the way and like we continue upwards the rest of the season. Um and at least too that like the 49 even Debo still talking like all cocky, like sometimes that's what players need. Like you coming to the season already thinking you're the best team even though you lost the Super Bowl, and like sometimes you need that reality check, like get the players back into like playing their game, not just rolling into every game thinking, oh, we're the best, like we got this. We're already
Right.
the best team in the NFL. Like once you win a Super Bowl, then you can say you're the freaking best. Okay. Until then, like put your head down and fucking work. Um, all right, let's. So yesterday you had gave me a couple of questions to ask Alexis. So looking at this Rams game, obviously now more injuries have come out on the 49ers side. The Rams team is just totally like, wow, they have so many injuries. I can't even, man. Um, but you had asked um on a scale of 1 to 10 how much trust she has in the O line to keep Stafford healthy, and then also if Stafford seemed hobbled already. And she said both weeks 1 and 2 Stafford was limping around in the games, taking obviously big hits. She said that first game, they were already down starting O line, and then during that first game, she's like the second quarter hit, and all of a sudden they just started dropping players like flies. Um, so they had to take like the fourth string O line that normally plays right tackle and stick them at center, and like swapping guys all over the place where they normally don't play. And then obviously going into week 2, she said the O line, they're just down to the bottom of the barrel of guys, and you're just having to put them wherever. So she said if it's that O line that they had week 2, she says she gives it a 3, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most confident
Right.
in
Oof.
keeping Stafford healthy. So she doesn't have much faith in that O line. As far as the weapons go, obviously we know Cup is out, right?
Puka.
What's his name? Yeah,
Puka.
Puka's out. So their tight end is number 1 tight end is still out from last season, tearing his ACL at the end of the season. So, she gave off a few, weapons that they have, but she said one to keep an eye on is wide receiver, I think Jordan Whittington. She said that
Hmm.
he's like a Debo-ish type player where, you can line him up in the backfield, you can sweep, put him on sweeps, you can, he lines out as a wide receiver or whatnot. So she said like starting obviously the season, like he was like wide receiver number 5. But he's moved up to like 3, now. But she said look for him as maybe somebody that they start using more of. And the running backs, they drafted Blake Corum. He's yet to be very barely used whatsoever. So she said she expects him to start being used more because Kyron Williams is going to have to be lined up as a wide receiver sometimes. He's having to block. She said he's most of the time so far he's been used as a blocker because their O-line's so bad. So we kind of compared it to like, us with Kittle, where, so many years we're like, get him out there to catch balls, and yet he has to block because our O-line's such shit. So she said that's pretty much where Kyron Williams is. So she's expecting, Corum to be used more going forward. Um, So looking ahead, into this Rams game, we talked about it. We just found out today that Kittle's now hurt. Probably most likely he's not going to play, it seems like. Charvarius Ward is now injured, but Throwback says, per Matt Burrows, injury doesn't seem that serious. It's just soreness, I'm guessing, and being cautious or sore. I don't know. Battle of the broken up, busted up teams, and it's only week 3. What are you expecting from this game, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, injuries definitely starting to pile up a little bit. I think the initial reaction was panic, but after, seeing it, like I don't think it's a lock that these guys miss this game, Kittle and Mooney Ward. It definitely doesn't feel like Mooney Ward is going to miss this game.
No.
And it's TBD on George Kittle, right? You never like to see a player get added to the injury report this late in the week. It's Thursday, right? They got to decide like the game injury designations tomorrow, ahead of Sunday. But I would expect that probably all those guys end up being questionable for the game. And I also did see like Nick Bosa was even limited in today's practice, and I would still expect him to go, right?
He
So
was limited, you said?
he was limited, yeah, with the rib injury, I guess. But if he was able to practice at all, like I'm not gonna be too worried about it. But yeah, I mean, definitely this team is hurting. I know it's not just the 49ers. Like obviously we look at the Rams being the extreme case. Like the Rams are experiencing the 49ers 2020 season. Like that's what it's looking like for them. And I mean, there's a lot of injuries throughout the league too. So I don't know, just something kind of weird about all the injuries going around. But I'm not going to panic about it. I still think the 49ers, with what they do have on Sunday, should win this game. Like I still don't think there's any excuses for them to not win it. So hey, there's some nice looking cards right there.
We're going to do a giveaway for those shortly.
Yeah, so make sure you guys lock in the live chat. But yeah, so I'm not too panicked about it. Like I said, I still think the 49ers should win this game with the guys they have out there.
Yeah, what do you think leaving what's up says maybe play in preseason? This is ridiculous. No, you just said it's not just obviously the 49ers or the Rams. Injuries across the league, and in recent years, even especially this year, a lot of starters haven't been playing in the preseason.
Yeah.
Teams say, oh, we're not going to play, these guys in the preseason because obviously you don't want them to get injured in a meaningless game, yada, yada, yada. But if you're skipping over the preseason to not get guys injured and then they're getting injured in the first couple games, like where,
Yeah.
like it doesn't seem, I don't know. Like, do you think playing in the preseason has something to do with this, all these injuries we've seen in recent years?
You mean like lack of playing in the
Yeah.
preseason for some of these guys? It definitely
Yep.
could. Like I do think like that's a fair thing to point out, because hey, like if your body's not taking hits, like it can't really prepare itself to take certain hits. And that I get it. Like we've seen those injuries happen in preseason to starters. So I think that's what teams didn't like about it and why they hold them out of those preseason games. But I guess there's really no way around it. Like there's probably always going to be injuries for some players. Like anytime you reintroduce your body to football hits, right? So because you're not doing it in training camp,
Right.
So whether it's in the preseason or week 1, like this is just going to be a thing. It definitely feels like there's more, I think, now, because maybe in the preseason it's a little different than regular season games where guys are like, not to say that guys aren't hitting hard in the preseason, but maybe now that it's like serious, it's you're experiencing harder hits maybe in week 1, week 2 of the season than you would in preseason.
Yeah, because like I've heard, like even Jerry Rice and like players that played back in that time all talked about how, they were full go, always in practice, all the preseason games, like now it's like they try, oh, no tackling in preseason, no this, no, like you're trying to bubble wrap these players in a sport where they need to get hit, and it's like it feels like the more that they bubble wrap them and try to be cautious before the season starts, it's like then these first few games of the season, like we're seeing guys be taken out, and it's just like I don't know, like there has to be a better balance. Like I've never liked, even, before talking about this injury part, like I've never liked that, our starters hardly play in the preseason at all because, we talk about, oh, these guys missed training camp, yada, yada, and now they're not going to be in football shape. Well, the team's not in football shape anyways. Like, they're just out there doing any like normal routes that me and you could freaking be doing. Like they're not getting hit, so it's like, when do they get in football shape? Games 1, game 2, game 3. So like I don't know, there
Yeah.
has to be a smarter, like better balance to all this stuff, and obviously we don't get paid the money to figure it out, but it should be somebody's job to be, looking and figuring these things out, because it just seems really crazy that you're taking all the physicality out of something that you need to be physical for. And when it's time to be physical, then all of a sudden the guys aren't ready because you've had them bubble wrapped up in the China shelf. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. So, um, I had asked yesterday, Alexis, if the Rams were to beat the 49ers, it would be because of, and she said it would be because of Stafford having a Stafford game and just, putting the team on his back and doing everything that he has to do to pick apart the defense. And, like she said, basically they have nobody else that's going to win him the
Yeah.
game for him. The defense is playing like shit. The offense is all hurt. So she said if they were to be able to beat the 49ers, Stafford's going to have to put the Rams on his back and, get the win for him. And I had asked her, if the team were to lose, and obviously, because they have nobody to beat us, right? Like the 49ers, have, even with at the time we knew that we didn't know about Kittle yet, but we knew CMC and Debo were going to be out. And she seemed like, she still has the 49ers beating the Rams. So regardless who's out, she doesn't seem to think their defense is going to be able to stop, our offense. And then obviously, she said, obviously with Fred Warner, and the defense, our defensive line, Stafford's going to have to get that ball out quick, because they have nobody to stop. Like, like they have me and you out there trying to block Bosa and, these guys. So hopefully, our D line can actually eat. And, I don't know what the deal was, why, Ayuk wasn't targeted as much in game 2, but now there's not an excuse, right? Like you have hardly, who else are you going to target? Like, you better find your trust. You better get Ayuk out of the doghouse, whatever the freaking issue is, and get him the ball. So let me ask you this question. If the 49ers are to beat the Rams, it's be because of what?
I mean, one, I think they're the better team. So I think it's going to be like, it should be pretty easy, I think, to beat the Rams under the conditions that the Rams are in.
Right.
So I don't have to think too hard about that one. I just think like Brock Purdy has to play better. I think guys like Jordan Mason, Brennan Ayuk need to be involved in this game heavily. And then on the defensive side, like they need to have less miscues, right? Because if no matter how good of a defense you are and how many great players you have, if there's a miscommunication, you're gonna get scored on. Like we saw, I think, in the game against the Vikings how easy it is for that to happen. Like to get scored on if you make a
Mhm.
mistake like that, like how costly those mistakes can be. So definitely they need to, improve some things, clean up some things on that side. Um, so I think as long as they do that, like they should be able to win this game.
I agree. Wait, you guys. So since I had started the show telling you guys I tried out this new stream thing, it's not letting me pull up the giveaway
Oh my
thingamajigger to
god.
to track
No.
all the giveaways. So how am I gonna do this? We're just gonna have to do it the old fashioned way. 1 through 50, enter your numbers. Good luck. Because this shit is not working. So whoever's the closest. Stop entering damn hashtag GOAT.
You're the one that put it up.
I know, but I'm
Give
telling
people
them
the
not to enter.
yeah.
So.
Now put the new instructions up.
All right. 1 through 50. Enter your number. Now I have to damn find the freaking giveaway damn app too. All right. So do it. What about the opposite way? If the Rams can figure out a way to pull this win out and the 49ers lose, it's been because of what? The 49ers,
I
Brock Purdy,
oh
Shanahan, the
you
defense,
said if
Sorensen.
the 49ers lose?
Yeah.
Um like what the 49ers do wrong? I think it would be a lack of adjustment. I think just trying to be too cute. I think obviously whenever anyone like Christian McCaffrey or Debo is missing, like you're not gonna have someone who fills that role for your team. That's a challenge. I understand that, but you still have other guys on this team who are
Right.
like just as capable to getting it done and have a successful offense. So if the 49ers lost, I think it would be a lack of getting those guys involved. And I think also it would be a lack of adjustment and trying to Brock Purdy possibly trying to do too much and just not playing their game. I think they should be able to win this game if like they run the ball. Like that's the biggest key for me. So if they veer off of that, the 49ers do, then I think that opens up the possibility of some things to go wrong in this game. And then also, I guess like yeah, on the defensive side, like it would be the opposite of what my answer was before, right? It would be like if they continue to have miscues, if they continue to not be able to get off the field on third downs, like that is a recipe for a loss right there, or just a recipe for the opposing team to stay in the game, you know, and that's what you don't want. Because I agree with Alexis. Like I think if there's anyone that can make this a game, it's Matthew Stafford, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure that there's no way he can have a say in how this game goes. Like shut that down. So defense needs to be, on their P's and Q's.
I agree. Real quick, going back to this last week's game, because the first week we talked about how great we thought the new defensive coordinator did in that game and whatnot. How well do you think he did in week 2?
So it's hard to say, right? Because I think in week 1 it was clear that like the adjustment for Garrett Wilson was obviously coach driven, you know. Um but in week 2, like I felt like the miscommunication, it's hard to say whether that's like a player error or if it's like a coaching error, or it could be both, right? Like if
Right.
there's sometimes if a player makes a mistake, like that does fall on the coach if the coach didn't tell him any better at any point. Um, or if you've been taught to do something different, but the player did the wrong thing, like that falls on the player. So it's hard to say, I guess. Like obviously there were mistakes in this one. Um, like the Mooney Ward thinking that Jalen Naylor was do gonna run block, and instead he runs right past him to get that
God.
touchdown. Or having, I thought it was odd having a safety lined up against Justin Jefferson
Yeah. What
on
the
the
hell?
97-yard touchdown. So
The
I'm
best
a
wide
little
receiver in the league.
I'm looking at that one a little weird. That to me does fall on the coaching. And then obviously like third down issues, I think falls on the coaching as well, because there this has now been an issue for a while now, and I mean, you have to know what to call defensively in
Yeah.
those situations to get the stop, and it just, yeah, it feels like the 49ers have had issues with that. So it's still early. Like I'm not panicking, with
Right.
the defense. I think, got to remember he's a first time defensive coordinator. Um, I guess like I'm also curious like how much involvement Brandon Staley has. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Right.
I don't think any of us know. But if something goes wrong, like we're always going to go back and be like, well, did Brandon Staley have something to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's just because of what we knew about Brandon Staley before he took on this role, and how he looked as a head coach. We kind of have
Right.
that in the back of our minds that, oh, does this make him a bad like assistant head coach, or like defensive, whatever his role is on the defensive side, I forget. But um so yeah, well, I'm not panicking. I think they'll figure out some things, and there's the opportunity this week to play better, look better, be more confident in what they're doing, and hopefully get the win.
Yeah. And man, Fred Warner, whew, like that guy
Dude,
is such a friggin' stud. Like,
he's different. He's different,
gosh,
man.
man, like if it weren't for him in that game, even though we lost, like,
It would have been a
man, I
blowout
feel like
without him.
we would have got our asses
Yeah.
kicked because he was such a difference maker. And I feel like I hate when somebody has a performance like that and the rest of the team can't even show up and at least do a little bit to help, get the win, like that masterclass of a performance, and it's just wasted on a freaking loss. Like, I hate that. 1 through 50, enter your numbers. Last call. I'm going to draw. Let's draw the Fred power players first. I saved this one because he's tackling a Rams player there. And then we'll draw the best tutties with him and Nick Bosa second. So let's draw these and get it out of the way. Steph, you already have your score prediction ready?
I do.
I don't. And I'll have to next week figure out, I'll let you know how far away our scores were because I didn't calculate it this week yet. I have it all written down. Don't worry. All right, chat. Good luck. Fred at Power Players. Remember, this is like the back in the old days, y'all. So here we go. Ooh, ends. Might have this. Did Shanahan announce if he's going to be back yet or not?
Who?
Hafunga?
It seems that way based on what he said, that if all goes well, these 3 days of practice, that he'll be making his debut pretty much.
All right. Dina. Congrats. Power Players. Fred is yours. I can't wait for Huff to be back too. Because at least get some, a little bit of a loud
get a
voice
little
back
juice.
the young guys, yeah. All right. For the best tutties, good luck. On the money. Dina cleans up and takes both. Congrats. Congrats, Dina. To the rest of y'all, better luck next time. All right, now we know not to do the show in this format anymore because nothing works. Thanks a lot, StreamYard. We appreciate it. All right, Steph, score prediction. What you got? What you got?
All right, so my prediction originally was still is 33-19. But I do have a second score prediction if George Kittle does not play. My score prediction if he doesn't play is 27-19.
27-19 without...
Write down both. Write down both.
I am.
Okay.
I didn't look.
And then tell us how many points you lost from last week.
I haven't figured out the points yet, but what was the score? What was the final score?
Convenient. The final score was 17-23.
17-23. So, I mean, it's just going to be 10 more than whatever the difference of yours is because you had 23-13. I had 33-13. So,
yeah.
You still have a lot of differential points to make up, okay? Don't be, getting too big for your britches over there.
This helps. This helps me.
This week I'm going to go chat. What you guys got? Score predictions. Drop them. Let's do I want to give them, should I have faith that they're going to score over 30? Because, last week they really screwed me and let me down. All right, let's do 31. 13.
Damn, you think the Rams only scored 13? I was trying to look at what the Rams...
They don't have no weapons.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Stafford's all limpy ass. What's he going to do? Limp into the end zone by himself? She wants him to put the whole Rams team on his back, and he's already limping and hobbled.
The Rams average per game right now is 15, so that's pretty on par with what you predicted. I got 19 though, so I don't think that's too far off.
Yep. We got Lee 31-17, Pam 28-10, Don 33-14. Hopefully, regardless, that we're all right and the 49ers win. Steph, anything else you got going on this week that you want to let the good people know about?
Well, I just did my Thursday show with Monica, Football is Sexy, right before we went live here right now. So if you guys want to check that out, that's on my channel, Steph49K. And tomorrow, preview show with Kyle Posey of Niners Nation. We go through all of the favorable and not so favorable matchups every week. I have a feeling the favorable matchups for the 49ers is going to be a pretty long list. So I try to keep it short.
I like it. All right, chat, we appreciate you. Sorry we couldn't stream to Steph's channel today. We'll get things back to normal next week. I won't screw shit up. I'll have the differentials done. I'll have everything ready. Steph, I appreciate you as always. Chat, much love. Everybody have a safe rest of your week and weekend. Let's get this dub this week. No more L's. Next week when we talk to y'all, I want us to be 2-1. All right? We're out of here, faithful. Till next time. Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.